Coming up this Sunday, Johns Hopkins opens the NCAA tournament at noon as they host Bryant. And joining us now here on GCR, a local kid who has a really awesome story, and I've been looking forward to chatting with him this week as he gets ready for the start of the NCAA tournament. He is the pride of boys Latin. He's Hopkins midfielder Ryan Evans, and he's with us now here on GCR. Ryan, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time, and congratulations on getting ready for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Glenn, thank you so much. We couldn't be more stoked to kind of get this first round game at home on Sunday. So, yeah, just looking forward to it.
You know, you are someone who I have to imagine probably cares about this maybe even more than anybody else on the team, right? Like you are Hopkins through and through in your blood. Let me go back a ways for those that don't know. Your dad played at Hopkins. Your grandfather, Joe Callan, one of the greatest players in Hopkins history. When you were a kid, was there any thought in your mind that you were going to do anything other than play lacrosse at Johns Hopkins?
Yeah, nope. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do since I was a little boy. That's all I wanted to do.
Really? Was there ever like a time where you even thought about something else? You're like, oh, maybe I buck the trend, right? Like maybe I go to Syracuse, maybe I go to Princeton, something like that. Did you ever consider?
I'll give you a funny story. I remember. So this is when I was starting high school, and obviously early recruiting was a thing. And I told my dad was very honest with me, and so was my grandfather. They wanted me to look at different schools. They didn't want me to just have my like eyes set on Johns Hopkins University, and I understood that. And I was like, I got to see kind of what else is out there, and because I am a local kid and I've grown up around this place. But I looked at my dad one day. I was just sitting on the couch, and I was like, Dad, what would you think if I ever got recruited by like Virginia or something? He's like, well, here, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan. I hope you have 10 goals, but I hope you lose. and that's nothing against the Virginia program. It's just that's my dad. That was my dad's big rival when he was playing, and they're a great program. That was a funny story, and I thought that was a cool moment.
That's awesome, man. What did it mean to you the first time you put the uniform on? We'll talk about this season. We'll talk about you guys getting ready. But for you, what did it mean the first time you put a Hopkins uniform on?
So I'll go back a little bit. So the first time I put it on, obviously, was freshman year, and that was a difficult year.
Yep.
Like that. So 2020, but I mean, it was really special to put it on. But it didn't mean something until I was able to put it on last year and actually step on the field and have an understanding of what it meant to play on a historic field like Homewood. And I know I was out for the first game because I had an injury. I actually was in a very serious boating accident, and I almost lost my arm, and I'm very thankful I didn't. Able to come back in 4 weeks' time, thank God, and I was able to compete against Loyola here at home, and that was a really cool moment because I scored my first 2 goals ever on Homewood Field, and you're just kind of feels like your dreams are coming true as when I was a little kid. That's all I wanted to do is just play on that field. I felt like everything was coming full circle.
That's so cool, man. I want to talk.
It was a really cool moment.
I want to talk more about, what you had to overcome here in a minute, but I also feel like maybe it means even more to you this season that you guys have put together this year, knowing, as you pointed out, it's been a tough couple of years, right, for this program, and there was a lot of noise coming into this year about where Hopkins is and aren't they supposed to be Johns Hopkins? How important has it been for you as someone who has cared about this program literally your entire life, and it's truly in your blood, to be able to return Johns Hopkins lacrosse to the prominence that I'm sure you believe it should have within this sport?
Yeah, I mean, there's no bigger privilege to play on this field, and personally, it's always been a goal of mine. I've heard the stories. My dad, he's went to 4 Final Fours and never won a national championship. My grandfather won 3 national championships. So to finally bring Hopkins back to the playoff to begin with is special. but there's another goal, and we got to win a national championship. We got to put our names back out there. The goal's not done yet.
It's Johns Hopkins lacrosse, man. I get it, right? Like that is
Yeah,
the expectation.
we're a group of hungry guys that want to just keep getting after it, and I couldn't be prouder of this team. I'm very thankful for kind of all these guys. We put in so much work over the years, especially this year, and all of us are super proud to be where we are, and we're just excited to keep going.
He is Ryan Evans. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio again. Hopkins Bryant Sunday at noon at Homewood Field. Ryan, what did it take? You know, from where you guys had been the last couple of years to get this thing together this season and have the season that you had, and you know some huge wins. Georgetown at the beginning of the year, obviously the Maryland game in the regular season. What did it
100%.
take for you guys to be able to put it all together and have this season and put yourself in a position where you have a chance to win a national title?
I think it comes down to 2 to 3 things: heart, trust, and focus. You know, we've all talked the talk. We've all wanted to be here. But we've said that the past, well, now it's 3 years for me, and this is the first year it's coming true. And I think that the group of guys we have now have been the most dedicated and committed guys to this program that I've seen in a very long time. And I just can't wait for this to kind of just come full circle.
I know it was probably disappointing to follow up on that, you know, massive win by losing at home to Maryland in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
But did it teach? Is there some weird like, hey, it makes you even hungrier? Is there something that it puts an even bigger chip on your shoulder that maybe it gets everybody's attention a little bit more? That perhaps you're even more focused now heading into the NCAA tournament, having gotten left, you know, being
100%.
left with that bad taste.
Yeah, I think that loss in Big Ten semifinal to Maryland really kind of was a little bit of a wake up moment for us. Like we did not have a good week of practice leading up to that game. We just weren't ourselves. I think we thought we kind of had the game in the bag, and we just, I don't know, it just didn't go our way, obviously. But I think for the past couple days now, we've been pretty focused, and we're pretty hungry. We've gotten after it on the field against each other these past couple days, and we're pretty hungry. So I think it's a good thing in a sense.
You know, obviously it's not easy, right? Like, you know what's ahead.
Yeah, 100%.
Clearly playing in the Big Ten helps with this, right? Because you don't get easy games at any point during the course of conference play. So you guys have been playing really good opponents now for a very long time. But what will it take, Ryan, for you guys to then, you know, raise that level? Even starting with Bryant on Sunday, that's a really good Bryant team, right? I don't know that everybody realizes how good.
Yeah,
that team is.
they are a very good team. I
Right.
give them a lot of credit. I give them a lot of credit. They're a hardworking group. They're tough. They slide pretty quick. So yeah, it's going to be a gritty game. So yeah, I'm not. I mean, could you repeat your question?
No,
real quick?
no, Ryan, I meant
Sorry,
like
I got lost in thought.
it's all good, and I appreciate the fact that you want to make sure you praise your opponent. But I
Yeah.
just mean, what will it take, knowing you got to win 4 games in 3 weeks, all against really good teams? What do you feel like you guys have to do even better than you were playing when you were playing through this great stretch to close the regular season?
You know, one of our coaches even talked about it kind of after our loss against Maryland. Is now it's a game of runs, and we've made a run this year. We've proven that we can make a run, and we have a very good schedule, so we've proven that we can play with the best of the best. Especially obviously the Big Ten teams. Those are I think up there with the ACC. We're the best for our conference in the country, all like every year, and so I think having that schedule of very tough opponents every weekend gives us an advantage heading into the games, to the Final Four, or not Final Four. I'm sorry, the playoffs. So yeah.
I think there's no doubt it absolutely helps prepare you more significantly than a lot of places could. Ryan, you mentioned something earlier, and it's an unbelievable story to me. I was totally unaware of this boating accident that you were in, and when you say those words, I nearly lost my arm. That's a really powerful thing to hear someone say, and I can
Yeah.
only imagine what going through something like that and the perspective that it gives you and how much maybe you appreciate small things a little bit more knowing you nearly lost it. Can you take me through what these last 2 seasons have meant to you? Because I'm sure you'd love to be scoring 40, 50 goals, right? Like I'm sure you'd love to be, doing crazy things.
Yeah.
But how much more it means to you and how much more appreciation you have after you went through what you went through in your personal life.
Yeah, totally. I remember kind of that day was a very obviously traumatic and scary day. Um, and I remember getting into the ambulance, just like seeing my dad, and I was a total breakdown. Like just I literally thought in my head, never gonna be able to play lacrosse again, catch or throw or anything like that. And because obviously none of the paramedics were telling me anything, and I woke up basically the next morning, and the doctor gave me the best worst news ever. He was like, "You'll be back in 4 weeks," and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" He's like, "Yeah, there was very minimal damage," and I'm like, "Oh my god, am I the luckiest person on the planet right now?" And because that could have been so much worse. I mean, I, all jokes aside, I could be at the bottom of the ocean right
Right.
now.
Right.
but
Right. Did you
and
like when you stepped on the field for the first time afterwards, did you find yourself like smelling the grass? Like I'm just so happy.
yeah, right. I was like, oh my god, like, but being able to put my, I'm not even the field, just being able to put my equipment back on and just pass and catch with the guys was like, oh my god, like I could literally just be standing on the sideline right now with the guys, just not being able to do anything right now, and it just kind of like I'm gonna talk about my faith a little bit right here. It just brought me closer. I feel like to God, because there have been times in my life where I feel like I've been like falling away from like all that stuff, and I think that really opened my eyes again and allowed me to kind of find my place. And another full circle thing is this is a sensitive subject. My uncle actually passed away in a boating accident
Oh.
when I was a freshman in high school,
Oh.
and yeah, it's very sad, but part of me believes that he was there that day and saved my life.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
I'm gonna get a little emotional, man. That's a really powerful thing.
yeah,
Ryan, I'm really happy for you. Obviously, one that you're just able to play, right? Like,
yeah.
good for you that you're
I
able to do.
appreciate that, class.
But obviously the fact that you were able to do this and be such a big part of this team, and I know you're just getting started. I know that there are big goals ahead for you guys, but really happy for you.
100%.
Want to make sure everybody gets out there Sunday at noon. Bring mom, right? Bring mom.
Yeah,
Enjoy
yeah. Bring
Mother's
mom.
Day at Homewood Field this Sunday for the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament. Ryan, where can people, from this area, lacrosse fans, be giving you a follow anywhere, social media wise? Is there something we can shout out?
Yeah. Social media is r.evans25. I'm not big on Twitter. So yeah, just Instagram r.evans25, all lowercase.
That's all.
Yeah.
Give him a follow there. Ryan, so happy for you. Such a great story, and I know you're still writing it, and there's a lot more to be written. So we look forward to seeing you out there this Sunday and the rest of the way of the NCAA tournament. Best of luck, and we'll be rooting for you, all right?
Thanks so much, Glenn. I really appreciate it.